I actually tried everything possible holistic out there to get to the moment where I am today, happy, joyful, alive, just being able to live a new life. In the essence of all of it is the soul. It's all guided by the soul, our lives and our journeys. Your heart's decision is never the wrong decision. Never, never.
Desi, welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and for anybody listening and everybody listening, I loved how you suggested to start the conversation with an intention. I think we hear so much about intention, right? And it's like, yeah, yeah, we know it, but it's easy to run by the power of the intention. And is there anything that you wanted to share from your own intention for this conversation?
I want to share that my intention is always to bring joy to people
Mm,
in any shape and form.
I love that.
Part of my work is to reconnect people with that energy. And I believe I also, in conversation like today, try to bring that as well.
Thank you. I love that. I definitely think that all of us can have and can need more joy, like respark that joy that is within us. What would you like to share about yourself, about what you're doing and creating in this world?
Mm. Yes, I've been doing a lot of new things this year. You created the latest thing is a herbal ebook. I got inspired to do that. Um, as it was like part of my journey, and also my passion started when I was in my early teen years to collect recipes for eating with herbs. And I'm like, oh, it's not a coincidence like that. I feel like I really need to share this with people. So um, I created this ebook recently, which people can find on my website. And
What
I
is it called?
was
What is the book called?
The book is called "There Is a Herb for That." There is a herb for that because there is a herb for that for every little thing, for every thing you go through. And I talk about inside about emotional um, states that can be healed. Um, so it's about mind, body, and spirit, not only physical. Not like okay, take I don't know, to go to sleep, to relax, but it touches on a different aspects of the benefits of herbs.
I love that. And it's probably for many people, it might start as kind of what you mentioned that, oh, I have trouble with either anxiety or sleeping or digestion, but then it can be a gateway, right, to open up a world. So did herbs talk to you? Like how did that message and that opening start for you? You mentioned in childhood.
Yes. Uh, well, I guess my soul was just had the wisdom from before, like a healer type of energy that lived within me, which I was very young and I didn't know. I didn't know who I am. I didn't know about being what is an empath and all of that. So um, now I came up to realize that I can actually help people by channeling the work they need right now in their life. And I recently, do that with a couple of my friends. And it's um it's a way to support your system.
I love
And
that.
it's very personalized as well as how I help other people generally, it's personalized individual approach because we are different. We're all different. So yeah, I just got inspired. Herbs have been helping me throughout my healing journey a lot. And I experimented a lot with different ones. And so I believe that they have superpowers.
And so, what did you go through that you used herbs for yourself? Like, what have been the challenges and how
Mm.
have they affected your own life, your journey, your health?
Yeah, I think herbs have always been part of my life. Just because even on a daily basis, and from looking back into the kitchen of my mother, you know, everything we put in our recipes and soups, basil or oregano or all of this is part of it. It's all energy anyway.
Yeah, the reason
But
I ask is because oftentimes, what people teach and
mhm,
coach on and then write books about stems and originates from their own journey, that a
yeah,
challenge that they face,
yes,
quote unquote, overcome or walk through.
yes, yes. And to come to that, thank you for reminding me the question. Um, I experienced a very traumatic physical challenge 6 years ago, which came into my life unexpectedly. It's called pendimoma, which is basically some sort of a cancer. It's a non-benign tumor, which was in my spinal cord. And that completely shifted my reality, my life, my life, my whole life.
Of course.
Um, but I used herbs to even help my daughter when she was a baby little and she had teething and I went to chamomile. Again, I don't know why I keep coming to chamomile.
I love chamomile. It's like one of the most beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, and then during this healing journey, um, I went to learn a lot about Ayurveda, the Vedic wisdom. And I started trying more of that. That was new for me, not the herbs I knew, but things like ashwagandha, turmeric, more of the Eastern traditions. And they are very old. They have been, proven for many centuries of their powers. So I had I had post traumatic stress disorder. I was very stressed out. My surgery was 10 hours. Um, I came up out of surgery basically numb from my neck down. I had to learn how to walk, how to use my fingers, physical therapy, occupational therapy. So it was a quite long of a healing journey. So what I'm trying to say is that I actually tried everything possible holistic out there to get to the moment where I am today, happy, joyful, alive, just being able to live a new life and actually help other people
Mm.
from, from my experience, from my challenging journey. Because I know it's possible. I lived it myself.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think? Was there something else you wanted to say?
I just want to say that I'm very honest. I'm always very, very honest.
Yeah, I think that's what people are looking for, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I think people have had enough of
yeah, yeah,
um, looks or, flashy or things that lack substance. And I think that's what our souls and our hearts connect to is and can kind of clock whether it's the truth or authenticity signal or not.
yes,
And I think we've had the enough of the empty signal out there. But I wanted to ask you, so on that journey, I mean, that's a very scary, obviously, um, diagnosis, a challenge to go through. And it sounds like herbs were one of the things, but what else did you change, or kind of what was most powerful that
Mhm.
allowed you, I guess, or made the transformation or difference to getting you to this kind of more joyful, peaceful, lighter place?
Yes. Well, in the essence of all of it is the soul. It's all guided by the soul, our lives and our journeys. And I believe I was guided the whole time to meet the right people to help me to get better and better. And yes, I tried energy healing. I learned energy healing, uh, emotional healing. I learned how to use and help others with emotion, the emotion, the EFT process. Theta healing, another part of energy healing, which I used, but then I went to train, practice it. Um, and then, I got into, during the whole journey, I was meditating a lot because I was in bed. So basically, I had nothing else to do but relax and try to think positively. So for me, it was also a mind shift. I mean, working over time to shift my thoughts and my reality because I was very scared. As you said, it's a scary
Mhm.
thing. And even that it was a successful surgery, they didn't know, and I didn't know if it's not gonna come back again. A couple of months later, every year they keep checking 6 months. So yeah, I was living in a stressful state, not knowing what's gonna happen. First, not knowing if I'm gonna heal. Second of all, not knowing if I will have to go through something like that again, which I couldn't even imagine. Not knowing if I will be there for my kids. It was just really, really, really hard. But I was working on my mind. I was doing different type of meditations, relaxation techniques, hypnotherapy, and later on, so I was slowly improving down the road of my healing journey. I met Ayurveda. I met the whole. I was already certified yoga teacher even before the surgery, but yoga, the physical part, is just one aspect of of that wisdom. And sign up for the IIN school, which was developed by Deepak Chopra and some of other um, Western uh, spiritual teachers, but based on the Eastern Vedic wisdom. So when I learned and discovered my dosha, according to Ayurveda, what dosha am I? I'm like, well, that makes sense. That's exactly I am who I am because it was a complete like uh, description of myself, like who am I? And then what that means is there are certain foods you should eat and certain herbs as a supplement, like in your diet. So focused on that and I started to um, feed myself that way. That is more towards my dosha, which uh, if, should I explain what dosha is? Maybe so
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people
go ahead. I think there are like three doshas and like
three
share.
doshas,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
three doshas, but you can be a mixed. You can
Sure,
be
it's never black or white. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, the dosha, what they call it, is basically the essence of the elements all of the elements that exist in are part of the universe, concentrated in certain amount, that they create your vata or pitta. So you are more of that or more of that. So if you have more of these elements, you are more air and more fast, more air, more water. And if you are like kapha, you're more calm, you're slow, you're more grounded, and they're the opposites. So anyway, I did that too. Started practicing it, all the things, combining the meditation with the soulful practice, the nutritional part, and I felt a difference. I felt I felt better. So that's how I knew that everything I try is actually helping me. Um, and the things you do, even if it's just a diet change, it affects your emotional state and even your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, the science, proves that your second brain is in your gut. So it's also connected. So you gotta be very careful, love yourself, give yourself the food you need to eat. But herbs are a supplement. They are supplemental part of the process. They're there to support us.
And would you say that your book is mainly about Ayurvedic herbs?
No, no. I just put 25 of the most common, but it's not specifically for that
Mm-hmm.
because I used my life experience with them because I had some pretty interesting healing stories, like healing husband or my kids with something that uh, conventional medicine couldn't help. And so, isn't that amazing? I mean, no
Would you like
side
to
effects.
share any?
Sure. What I was referring to in my mind is my husband had some type of sore throat. They said it's bacteria. They gave him antibiotic. He's allergic to the antibiotics that they needed to give him. They gave him something else, so he was taking it 1 week. He had no improvement. They gave him something similar. Second week, second week, he didn't get any improvement. And I said, you know what? This is not going to work. I knew it. I I just know. And I said, listen, you should do that, that, and that. There is a garlic supplement instead of antibiotics. You can do that. You can do, I believe, apple cider vinegar. It was the second prescription. Apple cider vinegar in water. But the main was the garlic supplement, high dose, which is like penicillin. It's an antibiotic. It's a natural antibiotic. He had to take it once or twice a day. I don't remember. That was years ago. And guess what? 4 or 5 days later, he's like, I feel better. I'm like, I know you're gonna feel better. Change your diet, stop the sugar, take the apple cider vinegar, take the garlic. That's how our ancient grandparents were maintaining their diet. A jar with garlic and vinegar and add it to them soup. For example, it's a staple in our kitchen where I come from in Europe. So uh, they didn't have doctors centuries ago. So that's why I believe there is there is a healing help for everything that we need support for. We just need to find the right one.
I love that. What are kind of your maybe top one, two, or three favorite herbs? And what have you seen kind of a change, whether in your life or other people's lives, the effect, whether it's just health or further than health, emotional, like mental?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends what kind of problem we're talking about. Um, but I do also like chamomile, but I don't align with that herb, so I can take it once in a while. So if I want to use something for this reducing stress, is not going to be chamomile, but it really works if I need to fall asleep, for example. Puts me to bed. I love basil
Hmm.
and I love using garlic. So for me, um, and oregano, yeah. But when I started uh, learning more, experimenting with the Vedic wisdom, ashwagandha, I know
Hmm.
they talk a lot about it, and it helped me. I use the temporary to help me again with some of the stress symptoms I was experiencing for a certain period of time.
How does, like, if a person is listening, and
Hmm.
how would they determine like what herbs are,
They
right
can
for
call
them?
me. They can call me, and I can channel something that they need.
So
But
you work
not
with
only like
people.
I do, and it's not just out of nowhere. Like I don't want to put myself as a woo-woo person, but because I know Ayurveda, I can discover someone's personality. So the right herb is going to be aligned scientifically plus channeling because um, again, I might want to take chamomile, but long term, this is not aligned with my system.
Mhm.
So I have to take something else. For me, ashwagandha helped a lot. Um, but let's just mention here this is not medical advice. Stop your medication. We talk about supplements, and they take more time to take effect, depending on what you are dealing with.
So I'm just
But
thinking, like, I am from Latvia originally, right? And there's no ashwagandha growing or ginger growing in Latvia, right? So
exactly.
there was garlic, there are things that grow there. Right now I live in North Carolina, and what I have growing in my yard is also very different right now. It's thyme, oregano, rosemary, again, these are kind of what can grow in my own garden. So what would you say is the wisdom of that?
So yeah, I like that you mentioned this because you talk about your roots, right?
Mhm.
Where you're coming from, and that's how right now you are in different environment, different energy, different soil, different water. So yes, you. I was also not like you. I was not given ginger or ashwagandha or any of those when
Yeah,
I
they're not
was.
natural. I mean,
They're
even
not
now where I
natural.
live,
Yes,
yes.
yes. But your body will tell you. I believe that we are very intuitive people, and
Mhm.
if you take something and you don't feel good after that, you shouldn't take it. And if you like it, like I love the aroma of basil, my body says yes to it, so I have to take it. It's a triple yes because I like it in my food. I love the smell of it. You know what I mean? It's like that's the way your body is telling you it should be part of your diet.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's so everything you mentioned, thyme, rosemary, everything is amazing. It's just it's just what do you really like?
Yeah, I like you're mentioning. I think that mm, we all have our intelligence within us, and too much
Hmm.
of the time we're looking on the outside.
Yep.
to come back, and its
All have,
hardest thing is to come back to actually validating your own knowing.
yes. And sometimes we just need a little help from someone, because we are so overwhelmed that we cannot connect to this wisdom within. So we can get a little help, but I do believe we all have the wisdom within. It's just, I experienced essential oil during my healing, because a friend of mine heard about my story, and she uses essential oils in Europe, American. Anyway, she prescribed like a program, and some of them really helped me, but I had adverse reaction to mint. She said, take mint in water, a couple of drops. Um, I just couldn't. I'm like, I can't, I don't like it. I tried it, but it was just too much. And she said, no, just don't do it. If you don't like the smell of it, if you don't align, that means your body's not aligning with that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe in small doses, which means, okay, if you're just gonna do herbal tea, they're usually safe, um, because herbs can be used different ways. It's one way to do a packet of tea. It's another thing to take a supplement or extract that is more concentrated.
Yeah.
So all these things makes the difference about the decisions how to use them. And I'm not a herbalist to recommend, but as a tea, as something you can do every day, yeah, I can definitely help.
So, how would you describe what you're doing? You mentioned channeling. So, would you say you're like intuitively guiding people, like on herbal protocols, or what is it that you do in addition to your book?
Yes. Well, in addition to my book, which is mostly towards the herbal wisdom used as a supplement, how you can, I can help you if you want to try a herbal supplement to find the right one. But I'm also a spiritual life coach. I give consultation. I have a whole program that, like a structured way of someone to help someone who wants to go through or who is going through a transformation, because we all go through, but sometimes transitions are more intense and we need support.
Yeah,
Life's
definitely.
transition. Yeah.
How did you come to doing that? How did you come to kind of figuring out that that's what you want to do yourself?
I came to know why I want to do that during my healing journey. I'm 100% sure of what my purpose is, because I've been working on what's my purpose. And, you know, uh, we have many purposes, but it's like, what do I want to give to people? How can I help them?
Hmm. And what is
And,
your purpose if you're open to sharing? And what
well,
do you want to give to people?
for big part, the bigger picture is to reconnect people to joy. But in order to get there, you go through a process. And I went through that process myself over time, over years. I experienced all kinds of challenges, and I healed all the emotional childhood trauma, all kinds of wounds. And I have the tools to help people with similar problems, people who are lost or are in transition, and they just need practical steps that they can calm the nervous system. Because as a meditation teacher, I mean, for me, number one tool is to really help people to just calm down the nervous system and reconnect peace. Because peace is the state where you're actually healing
Mhm.
naturally. You just That's how I was healing. I was just resting, clearing the mind, changing beliefs, negative beliefs, and a lot of things that was just not helping me. So I came to the moment where that's what I want to do. There is nothing else I can do. There is nothing else that I want to write books and to share the same wisdom that I also talk about now, and just find the people that need to find that information. So either working with me in person, or soon I'm gonna write another book. I already have my soul journey in another book. It's a chapter that I wrote last week, um, because I wanted to inspire hope to people. You know, it just
Mm.
I know how hard can a life can be for so many people. That there's so many people struggling out there with so many things, and they don't even know where to start. And sometimes you just need a simple tool, simple tool that you can start doing, or ask the right question, and then you will find the answer. The soul is going to guide you to the answer. And I believe
So,
in that. I believe it's possible. Healing is possible. Joy is possible. Reconnecting to your 5-year-old fun and loving energy, it's possible. You just have to consistently wanting to be there, and do something about
mm, I love your purpose and how you phrased it, and there are definitely layers, right, of
it. They are
purpose. I
layers.
think I love that you shared kind of the overarching, right? And usually, I think in the Western world, we're so trained or conditioned to think about it as work, right? To equate it.
Yes.
But it's really an emanation, right? An emanation of your soul outpouring
Hmm.
in the being. Sometimes we are so easy, we're so quick to overlook the being part, right? We just do productivity, something,
Yes.
how to convert it into physical. So I love that you shared it on that level. How did it become clear to you, like that is
My
that your
purpose.
soul, yeah, that your soul came here to do or to be?
So yeah, part of this. Thank you for this question. On my journey of meditation, I was meditating a lot, but nothing that was really guiding me, right? With no questions. And that was the moment where I met uh, the Deepak Chopra method, which actually included asking 3 soul questions in the beginning of your meditation practice, and then meditating. And by doing that for 6 months, it's just like so clear, so clear.
Mm.
There is, yeah, when you do something consistently, it always pays off. And when you ask the soul questions, you're going to get the answers your soul is looking for. And they're very simple questions.
And how did the answer come to you? Because I think, so at least my experience, it's not like a voice, right? It's not going to come through, or it didn't come through like necessarily in direct ways. It's a much more perceptive, intuitive, like it's not like how our mind imagines, oh, I'll have this idea or I'll have this answer through a language. How did it come to you?
Exactly. Uh, and exactly. It's just, it's, you need to learn to distinguish this subtle voice within, which is part of the practice, which is part of the practice of meditation, which is letting go of the brain and connecting to energy, peace, and just state of awareness. By doing that, you expand your awareness and you become more aware and you improve your intuition. And over time, what happens is you just know. And everyone has different superpowers. I call it superpowers because, yes, we are super powerful beings that do not use all of our potential. But part of this practice is that you actually connect to your superpowers more and more. And for you, maybe you are a visual person. Some people are audio, they can hear voices or voice. Or some of them, like me, they just know. I have inner knowing. I can't explain how it works. I just know. And it was a process of me trusting that because I was so conditioned not to trust myself. I had a traumatic childhood, shaped into a being had to do certain things and live somebody else's life. So over time, I reconnected to my authentic self, my values, and I learned to distinguish this voice, who is very subtle, but it is me. It is who I am. It is what I want to do actually, not what my mom wants to do, not what somebody else is telling me to do. And I came to the moment where I don't need advice from other people. I just need to go within.
Beautiful. And I think in some of the um, your videos, in one of the videos, I saw you encouraging people to ask how do you feel? So anybody listening, right? And tell us more how
Yeah,
why is that helpful?
yeah. Well, part of my purpose right now is I just channel this information from the divine, and I am putting these messages out there. They're completely unique because they're mine. They're not, and they're not mine. They're channeled, but they're not ChatGPT. Okay, so that's the background of this message, and it's like we are conditioned to the reality we see, right? And that's how we believe what we are or who we are. But what's important is how do you feel? And it's interesting that we think when we get that or that or that subject, we are going to feel certain way. So do you see how it's connected to actually the essence of how important, the most important part is the feeling? And when you connect to this through meditation, you connect to this infinite love or joy. It doesn't matter what you have because you feel good inside. And when you feel good, you attract the same things in your life, good things. You're happy, your life is giving you more of that. You meet happy people. When you're sad and depressed, you see all the negative around you. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful, it's a very, very interesting universe that we live in. It's funny because I was just on a podcast, I guess, like before we started recording,
Mhm.
and we were talking about how, behind I was sharing how behind everything that you think you want, like the position, the money, the house, the husband, the kids, whatever it is, it's really the aliveness, it's a feeling that you imagine that you will have through that physical manifestation. It's really a state of being that you think that now I'll feel fulfilled, happy, joyful, whatever.
Exactly. And let me tell you why my story is so important. Because when I had everything, the American dream, 6 years ago, on the external, everything was as a dream come true. But what happened was my soul was not happy and I got sick. So what does that make you think? It makes you think that it doesn't matter what you actually accomplish on the outside unless your soul is happy and free and really be so braveless and free to do whatever soul wants to do, then you're not really free. You're doing things designed by society, designed by the past, your past thoughts, thoughts of somebody else, traumas, the pain you experienced, and this needs to be healed, released, and then you can be free and follow your soul, your guidance, your light. Just be a 5 year old. It's so interesting. People forget how happy they were when they were little. Before they came to went to school and society started to shape them with the norms of how they're supposed to behave and what they're supposed to do, right? So what your soul wants is actually freedom. Freedom to be, freedom to do.
And how did you, like, what was your soul not happy with?
I was disconnected from my soul. I was not listening to this voice that I was telling you. I would just be once in a while and here's something like passing by and I'm just go. I'm focused on the logical. I'm my past, I'm an engineer, logical brain. So I was conditioned to listen to my brain. My big part of my purpose when we moved to the United States was actually my kids, and I was full-time mom. But so much so that I forgot how to fill my own cup, and that's why I learned how important it is to fill your cup first, and boundaries to, to nurture yourself first, and then you're able to give to others from a place of love and contentment, peace.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not the best version of yourself. You're just
Yeah, because you have these, for anybody listening on audio, Desi has these beautiful flowers on her screensaver in the background. And, the analogy with the garden, you can't really give anybody. You can't give your neighbor, you can't give your kids, you can't give your friend, your lover. You can't give anybody a beautiful bouquet of flowers unless your garden is nourished, tended, cared for, and has those flowers growing in there, right?
so true. And we can all nurture and make our own garden in our life. Speaking metaphorically, just removing the garbage, the negative thoughts, negative beliefs, all of these things that are not supposed to be there, and then we can grow something beautiful and really
Mm.
enjoy it. And I have flowers because I love to paint flowers. I love to paint and I love music. So for me, I express myself to create beauty.
And that is so so important. And my heart definitely aches how the beauty and the aesthetic and all of these things that are so amazing for reconnecting with your soul have been removed from our school system, and kind of like kids are encouraged already early on to make a decision for the mind, very mind focused, STEM kind of careers. And it's interesting when you talk about the beliefs and the thoughts and um, garden, it's never done. So I love working with flowers. I love working in the garden, and I can find myself be in moments where I have like these flowers that I'm planting, and then I get into this kind of this worldly type of being that I was so accustomed to myself of just getting it done. And then I will be resting and just and then I can notice when I'm in the stream of where I'm like so happy because like I'm just like kind of dancing like that kind of what you said, the 5, 6, 7 year old, you know, where I'm like, oh, I have a thought. Let's create a basket of these colors, and I go to Lowe's and I'm gonna buy this color is speaking to me, this flower is speaking to me, and I'm gonna actually plant and be so happy, right? And from the lightness, and I can stop myself when I'm in the first mode versus the second mode, and when I get in the mode of the worldly training of like, oh, you just have to be done, but you're never done. With
Yeah.
the garden, you're never done.
Yes. And what you're saying reminds me to say back is yes, we are human beings. And we always, as human beings, we will always have to shift between, between that reality and that different energy to that is joy, that is your passion. And when you do it, you actually ignite that passion, joy when you
Yeah.
do. That's why do. So that's why I say do what makes your soul happy. Do what makes you happy, because that's the only way to reverse and rebalance the life we live in. That stress and everything.
And what do you say? There's tremendous wisdom, and I would say it's one of the hardest things to do in this life and in the condition because you're going against everything that you've been taught to live. You've been modeled, you know, from left, right, center, from parents, from school, from workplace. You know, it's like exactly the opposite. What do you say to people who say, "Well, feelings are not reliable; they come and go."
Feelings. What kind of feelings? Do you mean like inner voice, like that guidance, or general?
Well, I think there's general like that people don't like. There's not listening and not
Not,
trusting
not wanting to
those
hear.
feelings.
Okay, I see. You talk about the people that just want to. They're very. It's scientific. And if it's not
Yeah, we are
science,
very mind focused
mind.
society, right?
Yeah,
Where that's what's validated as true, as logical, right? Reason that's, you know, then you're smart, then you're successful, and then, you know, you're saying something of substance.
hmm hmm. So the question is, what do I say to those people? Is
Or
that the
sometimes
question?
there's a doubt, right? I remember on my own journey, right? There's a doubt, like, because there are all
There is.
these competing voices.
Yes, yes, definitely. Doubt happens. It's part of the human experience. But my experience, I want to say, your heart's decision is never the wrong decision. Never, never. I made so many experiments in a way that I was like, okay, well, my heart says that, but no, I'm like this way.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming back to that energy of love in my heart and peace. And I'm like, I know that actually, I know that's the right answer. When it comes from here, this is where we connect to who we are. Our creator, the energy of creation of God is within our heart, because who is beating your heart? I was 5 years old and I was thinking, who is beating my heart? Why is my heart beating? Like, who is beating my heart? My entire life I was asking until I would turn like 40 years old, and I got the answer. I finally got the answer. There is a higher energy that is taking care of everything, and just need to trust that, because the mind is a program. It's a computer. Sometimes we need to use. I don't say don't completely overuse your. or don't use your logical mind, but when you have a decisions to make, and if you want to reconnect to joy, that
Mm,
that's the only place to go. If you want to follow your soul's journey and be happy, you just follow your heart.
I love that. How can people find you and connect with you or follow you?
Sure. I put most of my creative work on my website, which is at desi-divine.com. Um, and I do Instagram. I have Desi's Divine Instagram, and I'm gonna post a lot more content on my YouTube, which is still in the beginning, but I wanna share a lot more of these teachings for people who want to get access, easy access to what they need.
Beautiful. And you can navigate, for anybody listening, you can navigate to those links from the show notes directly. Desi, what would you like to leave us with? And is there anything that I didn't ask that you would want to share?
Um, no, I trust that the conversation was guided, and I trust that you got the right questions. You you're doing your purpose, and thank you for that, and thank you for all of your listeners. And there was a beautiful light passing behind you. It was like a halo.
Hmm. Wow. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Maybe you have angels around you. We all do. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for having me here. I know you gotta go,
Yeah.
and take care,
Thank
everyone.
you for being here. Thank you for
Be the
being here.
love, be the love, be the love for the world and for yourself.
Yes, and that's an invitation to everybody. It starts from within. So thank you for the beautiful invitation. I think I do agree that in any moment, I think we will all be served by attuning to more joy than the negative that we're so well trained to do and so quick to do, and it is a certain retraining or plucking the weeds from your garden, and then it's kind of like it's interesting how joyfulness and lightness and peace and harmony, that it can sometimes be the hardest thing to attune to.
Well, it's not that hard. It's it's I believe it's if you ask a 5 years old, he'll tell you right away.
Yeah,
We just forgot to ask ourselves.
yeah, the
A
5 year.
40, 50 year 40, 50 year old man is, if you tell him what do you really want to do? Do you want to go to the swing? Let's go to the swing. Like, what will your 5 year old want to do? He'll be like, I have to think about it. I really don't know.
Climb
But
the
actually,
tree,
I want,
play pirates.
sorry,
Climb a tree, play pirates.
climb a tree, go on the swing. And actually, a friend of mine said, yeah, I do want to go on the swing with you. I'm like, let's do it. I also want to do it. We came here to have fun.
Yeah, I love that. Let's all have more fun.
Have fun.
Thank you, Desi. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you.